Hi everyone, Jeff Cote here with boatingtechtalk.com. So what do we have in front of us? Today we're going to be talking about a Raymarine Evolution Autopilot or system pack because it involves a bunch of things and that's why they call it a pack. Raymarine is been doing these sort of wheel autopilots. They go up to about, and this is for a fully loaded vessel, about 16,500 pounds of displacement. So it's not a solution for all boats. And let's give a little bit of context. When we're thinking about autopilots, there's different drive systems, right? So generally most boats will have hydraulic pumps. Sailboats are generally going to either have a linear drive system, something actually moving on a tiller arm on the rudder stalk, or alternatively for boats that have a less displacement, you're going to be able to maybe consider a wheel pilot. Some boats even have tiller pilots. There's different other types of drive systems. Some use chain. But here today we are talking about the Raymarine wheel pilot system. That's been around for a long time. We see it a lot of sailboats will have this 32, 33, 34, 30-foot sailboats. A lot of boaters are going to have this. Raymarine, a big player in the industry, this product's probably the number one most popular product within wheel pilots, and it's definitely a fast mover here at Pacific Yacht Systems. All right, and Rotom. Okay, so with that, we're going to get started. First thing you'll notice is it looks big. It feels it's got a little bit of weight to it. There's going to be a lot of different pieces in this system. Remember, when you're buying an autopilot, there's a lot of different parts. So what we're going to be talking about today is we'll actually walk through all of these different parts. I'm familiar with this because I've installed quite a few when I used to be doing work on the field. And so I'm quite familiar with this product firsthand. And I'm going to be sharing with you what you would get if you got one of these products for your own boat. Okay. By the way, just letting you know, this is your first time watching one of our videos. We've got over 300 videos on YouTube just on boating stuff and sharing my passion for marine electronics. So please subscribe to our channel so you can always get updates. And also, I have to say, our website has got about 1,200 pages of other stuff, just about everything. Sharing is caring. I got that from my mom, and if you're ever sort of curious and you've got more questions or you want to basically go down the rabbit hole with me, go on our website and you can see the links below, and there's even a section just on autopilots, and we have sections on the different things that we specialize in. All right, so back to this box. So what do we have in here? You can see it's well packed. There's a lot of stuff, right? I mean, it's not just space. Okay, all right, I'm sort of excited actually. All right, okay, let's make some space by taking this box here. This is the sensor, and we're gonna talk about that once I get all the boxes out of the bigger box. So this is the sensor for the autopilot, so it knows where it's going. Next, here's the control unit. That's sort of pretty much the brain. That's where everything sort of processed and all the decisions are taken. This is the ACU. We're going to open that box as well. The next thing here, what we have is the control head. The control head is the interface. That's basically our version of a mouse and a keyboard for a computer, or maybe now the screen itself. This is how you would interface with the autopilot system. We've got a bunch of cables, and in this case, Raymarine has proprietary cabling called C-Talk NG. It's pretty much based on CAN bus, which is NMEA 2000, but they have proprietary ends. So if you've got an existing NMEA 2000 system that is not Raymarine, you're probably going to need to order a pigtail adapter to go from NMEA 2000 to C-Talk NG. Again, same system. It's just that Raymarine came up with their own proprietary NMEA 2000 ends, which they call C-Talk NG. Okay, a little bit of packing. I'm going to put that to the side. And lastly, what I'm going to be taking out of the box is the wheel pilot itself, the drive unit. Okay, so, all right. So what do we have here? So this is what would be actually installed on your sailboat at the helm. And I'm going to give you a little bit of indication of what this looks like. All right, excellent. So you can see there's a bunch of instructions, manuals, obviously the serial numbers. You've got to keep those handy. You've got to keep those handies because you never know. And we've got the wheel pilot over here. And underneath, I'm going to go slowly here. I'm going to show you the different bits and pieces. What's in that box. There you go. So this is actually what is installed around or in front of your helm. So you're going to have a sort of a pedestal at your helm, and you're going to have a wheel. And this would actually, the wheel would be on this side and the pedestal would be on this side. And generally what's going to happen is the motors, most likely this can change. As you can see, there's different mounting locations. And this bracket over here is going to be installed like this on the pedestal guard. And that what it allows is so that the wheel can actually turn, and this is the motor here that drives. So you can see it's not a huge motor, and that's why, you know, this is not for a 45-foot sailboat or even a 40-foot sailboat. It's max to 16,500 pounds. So even if you're at 16,500, it might not be great. And if you're looking for offshore work or something like that, this is not what I would recommend. I would definitely recommend a linear drive. But then the price goes way up. It's exponential to go. So this is the wheel drive unit. That's actually what moves your wheel, okay, on your sailboat. This is the little piece I was talking about that is actually installed on the pedestal. You're going to have to drill some holes to actually mount this in the right place. And as we all know, measure multiple times. I remember installing this wheel pilot on a few boats the first times like a decade ago. And I was nervous. And it's okay to be nervous. It's okay to worry. You know, worrying is what makes us do things better. So take your time and measure and measure and measure and measure. The other thing too is you can see these are this little bag of goodies over here, and I'll open it up to give you an example. They're actually what allows the wheel to actually be connected to the wheel drive. And so these little spacers actually are fitted on the wheel, and they're going to allow you to hold this wheel into place. Now you're noticing there's not holes everywhere because all of us have different wheels. Right? Not all of us have 6. There's different spokes, and there's all these different pre-drilled configurations that you're going to drill to the wheel, the number of spokes that you have at your pedestal. So actually, good job on Raymarine to actually think that, you know, there's different wheels out there. They're not all the same. So this is really handy. And what you end up doing is you end up mounting these hardware so that the wheel is properly stuck onto this. So that actually whenever the motor turns, the wheel turns also. Because if your wheel is turning, then obviously most of us, or a lot of us, have Edison pedestals. That also makes, through a cable and chain, will actually make the rudder actually go port or starboard. So that's what that is. The other thing too you'll notice is you've got another little cable in here. This is actually the drive cable. So this connects to the ACU, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. And that cable is what it allows current, and it just changes the polarity. There's only 2 wires coming to this, and you're changing the polarity, changing the direction of the wheel. Okay, as simple as that. So that's probably going to be routed into your pedestal and or into your pedestal guard. On my boat, it was installed on the pedestal guard. And these are little tools. They even give you drill bits, Allen keys, and everything you need to actually mount this hardware. So very well thought of. So this is the wheel drive unit. All right. The next part that I want to talk about is, let's start with the ACU. This is where the magic happens. This is where the algorithm to figure out what's going on my boat, you know, because remember, it's easy to keep an autopilot going straight on a boat when the water is calm and flat. That's a world in 2-dimensional space, right? There's not a lot of forces against us. There might be currents, but you're not being thrown around like following seas. So this is where the magic happens about, and they're constantly learning, by the way, about what's happening in your boat and how it should react to keep your boat on a steady course or going to a waypoint. Because remember, when you're actually using an autopilot on your boat, you can actually either use point and click. I want to go to this heading, I want to go to this waypoint, or I want to go to a route. So this is the ACU, okay? ACU is the brain. And you can see it's not too big. Also comes with a NMEA 2000 or C-Talk NG power adapter. There's some ferrites on here, and all the connections are actually coming through there. You've got to remove these screws and you can get access to the connectors right there. So that's basically the ACU. The mounting location of that, definitely follow the instructions. Don't be a hero. And it's not gonna be, you're not gonna be able to have it too far from actually the wheel drive unit. You know, you can't have your wheel obviously at your helm and then have this unit at the bow, because the voltage drop on the power cable is gonna be too much, and it's not gonna be, your autopilot system won't be happy. All right, next. What we're going to talk about is the sensor. Now, how does an autopilot know what's happening to your boat? In the past, they used to be fluxgate compass. Now, we've got these motion sensors that are looking at the world in a three-dimensional space. And this device right here is it's basically a modern equivalent of a fluxgate compass. But it's also understands the rate of motion, which is good. And it also understands where your boat is oriented in three-dimensional space, which is super important for following seas when you're actually going to need the autopilot the most. Again, comes with some cabling, a little bit of gaskets, and basically even a mounting bracket right here so that you can actually mount that somewhere. The location of this sensor is probably one of the most important things that you can do when you're installing that on your boat. Read the instructions, don't be a hero, and make sure that there's no interference or large cabling or ferrous objects in around this device, because it will definitely affect where your boat thinks it's pointing, okay? I had an owner once we installed the autopilot on his boat, and later on they moved certain items, and they moved a spare anchor close to where the sensor was. And the boat was literally thinking it was going straight, but it was actually going sideways. So make sure wherever you mount this that you know where it is. Some people even put stickers that it's mounted there so that you don't forget, and you don't want to have any sort of interference. So that's the sensor. Lastly, this is something that's going to look quite familiar. It's the instrument, or what is called the control head. That's the device that allows your interfacing the autopilot. How do you tell the autopilot to go to a heading? How do I tell the autopilot to follow maybe a route or go to a waypoint? You do it through here. Not that you can't do it through an MFD, but you can definitely do it through an instrument. And I'm a big fan of actually having dedicated instruments for autopilots at all helms. So if this was a power boat and we had a hydraulic system and we had two helms, then I would have two of these control heads. So this control head right here, it looks a lot like an instrument, and it's not a coincidence. It's the same size as those ubiquitous sort of Raymarine instruments that we know from the ST60 that are on a lot of boats. Look at the display, how nice that is. Amazing. Again, it gives that sort of glass bridge. It does look expensive and makes it look really polished. And that's how you're gonna go about interfacing the autopilot. And you'll notice, of course, there's plus or minus 1 for heading changes, same thing, plus or minus 10 for bigger ones. And then again, if you read the manuals, there's tricks on how do you go tacking with this and coming back. You can go on standby right here. Standby is really important. You want to disable the autopilot before you grab the helm. So that's basically the control head for the autopilot. And they're going to be similar control heads for different types of autopilots, and they're pretty much all this size. You'll notice the connector, a single connector, and again, this is the C-Talk NG from Raymarine. We've got the nice little bezel that comes with it, so it makes it look sharp. And then lastly, a little pigtail, sort of NMEA, again, 2000, but in Raymarine cases, a C-Talk NG. So there's more instructions in this box. You can see a little bit more manuals in here and some warranty, and they even give you some fasteners to be able to fix the control head on a bulkhead or perhaps a pod at the helm. And again, more ferrites over here, okay? So basically, in a nutshell, that's what a wheel autopilot is, and that's what you're gonna get if you get this Evolution autopilot. I've had a lot of clients that are quite happy with it. I would say it's more for coastal cruisers, people that are not planning on going offshore. Not to say that people going offshore can't use this autopilot, but they would use this autopilot in more calmer seas. It's not something that is heavy duty. I remember being on a boat, you know, if you've got huge seas, especially from behind, it's hard for the autopilot to actually understand what's going on, and it's working really, really hard, as we are when we're sailing a boat. And so it's not for everyone, but if you're looking for a budget autopilot for a rather small sailboat that is less than 16,500 pounds of displacement, this is the choice, a good choice for you. So anyways, again, post your questions down below. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you've got further questions, post them there. Also check our website. We've got lots of articles on autopilots and tips and tricks. So thanks everyone for watching.